In 2003, Terminator 3: Rise of the Machines arrived at a time when Hollywood was shifting toward digital filmmaking. However, instead of relying solely on CGI, this movie blended real stunts, massive practical sets, and cutting-edge visual effects to create action that felt heavy, dangerous, and authentic. And as always in this video, we're going behind the scenes to uncover how Terminator 3 brought its most iconic moments to life, scene by scene. In the film's explosive climax, the final fight isn't powered by CGI alone. For this explosive climax of Terminator 3, the filmmakers relied on a powerful blend of practical effects, real stunt work, and carefully integrated CGI. This final battle wasn't designed to feel digital. It was meant to feel raw, physical, and brutally real. When the T-850 enters the final fight via helicopter, Arnold Schwarzenegger appears with half his face and body visibly damaged, exposing the machine beneath. While it may look like a fully CGI effect, it was a powerful blend of practical makeup and advanced CGI. While filming, Arnold wore special prosthetics makeup, and the damaged areas of his face and body were covered with green paint and tracking markers. These green sections were used as placeholders, so the visual effects team could later digitally replace them with robotic endoskeleton parts and burned metal details. After that, ILM, Industrial Light and Magic, created a 3D digital scan of Arnold and built an exact digital double of his body. This technique is known as matchimation, where a CGI model is animated to perfectly match the real actor's movements and expressions. The most intense and technically demanding moment of the climax comes when the T-850 physically restrains the T-X, stopping her from reaching John Connor and Kate Brewster. Instead of relying purely on CGI, the filmmakers built the sequence around Kristanna Loken's real physical performance. When the T-X is crushed beneath the helicopter and desperately claws forward, every movement, her arms stretching, fingers clawing, and underbody straining, was first performed by Kristanna on set. For close-up shots, Stan Winston's studio built practical robotic arms, practical animatronics, and mechanical prosthetics, all precisely matched to Kristanna Loken's body measurements. When the camera focuses on the T-X hands, fingers, or struggling motions, those are real physical props interacting directly with Arnold Schwarzenegger. This allowed for genuine grip, resistance, and metal-on-metal contact, something CGI alone would struggle to replicate convincingly. In wider shots and heavily damaged moments, when the T-X outer skin was melted away and her endoskeleton is fully exposed, CGI takes over. But even here, nothing was animated randomly. Industrial Light and Magic used motion reference animation, transferring Kristanna Loken's real movements on the digital endoskeleton. Every crawl, arm extension, finger bend, and violent struggle was based on her physical performance. The result is a seamless fusion of real acting, practical animatronics, and CGI, making the T-X feel like a truly alive machine. When she makes her final desperate reach toward her target, the audience never questions what they're seeing. It feels real, heavy, and terrifying. One of the most iconic and dangerous action sequences in Terminator 3 is the massive truck and crane chase, where the T-X hijacks a gigantic construction crane and turns the highway into a war zone. From the very beginning, the filmmakers made a bold decision. As much destruction as possible would be done for real, not simulated. To achieve this, the production used an actual heavy-duty mobile construction crane, specially reinforced to withstand high-speed chases, violent collisions, and repeated impacts. This wasn't a digital model. It was a real machine driven through streets, smashing cars, and tearing through the environment in front of the camera. When the T-850 is seen hanging from the crane's hook and arm, many of the wide shots actually feature Arnold Schwarzenegger himself, physically suspended from the rig. For close and medium shots, the crew used advanced rigging systems, steel harnesses, and controlled mounts to give the illusion of real danger while keeping the actor completely safe. In the most risky angles, stunt doubles and occasional digital replacements were used, later blended seamlessly with CGI. The most brutal moments occur when the T-X deliberately slams the crane's boom and the Terminator into buildings and structures to inflict maximum damage. These shots weren't filmed in real, uncontrolled locations. Instead, The production built breakaway buildings and glass facades designed to shatter dramatically upon impact without endangering the crew. Multiple cameras rolled simultaneously because destruction on this scale can usually only be captured once. At the end of the chase, the crane completely loses control and crashes onto the road. While it looks terrifyingly real, this specific moment could not be safely executed in real life. Flipping a 100-plus ton crane at high speed with its boom, cabin, and wheels collapsing violently would have violated every safety rule in filmmaking. For this reason, the final crash was created entirely with CGI. A highly detailed digital crane model was built, replicating the real machine's exact measurements, weight distribution, hydraulics, and metal behavior. ILM's VFX team used real footage of the crane sliding, swinging, and dragging its hook as reference, then applied physics-based animation to the digital version. The result is a crash that feels uneven, violent, and brutally heavy. Not smooth or cartoonish, but driven by real-world mass and momentum. This careful balance between practical destruction and digital precision is what makes the track and crane chase one of the most memorable action sequences in the Terminator franchise. The TX wasn't designed as a simple CGI villain. From the start, the filmmakers wanted her robotic body to physically exist in the real world. Once again, Stan Winston's studio led the process, designing the TX endoskeleton and weapons first as detailed 3D models, then transforming them into real, working props and animatronics. Multiple interchangeable robotic arms were built for the TX, including finger drills, rotating buzz saws, and flamethrower-style weapons. These weren't just visual props. The buzz saws had real spinning mechanisms, the drills used rotating motors, and flame effects were enhanced with real lighting rigs. This allowed the camera to capture authentic mechanical motion and reflections directly on set. Christiana Loken's arms were carefully modeled and cast so the prosthetics would fit properly. In some shots, her real arm was hidden while a full mechanical prop replaced it. In Terminator 3, the T-1 tank-style Terminators represent Skynet's earliest generation of battlefield machines. Their design and construction followed a much more grounded and realistic approach, and once again, the responsibility fell on the legendary Stan Winston studio. The filmmakers wanted these machines to feel raw, brutal, and industrial, very different from the sleek humanoid Terminators of the future. That's why the T-1 was designed as a primitive but deadly tank robot hybrid. Once the final design was locked, the studio began building full-scale physical T-1 models. The main body shapes were first carved using computer-milled foam, which allowed for precise mechanical detailing. These forms were then reinforced with fiberglass, resin, and metal panels to create a heavy industrial exterior. Inside, the T-1 units were built around steel and aluminum frames, giving them real weight and a powerful on-set presence. These weren't just static props. The T-1 machines were fully functional, practical builds, equipped with hydraulic systems, rotating turrets, articulated head movement, and mechanical arms. This allowed the robots to physically move in front of the camera, making their actions feel solid and threatening rather than animated. One of the most impressive features was the tank track mobility system. The production team modified real vehicle track mechanisms and installed them beneath the robots, allowing the T-1s to move like actual tanks. Their motion was intentionally slow, heavy, and intimidating, perfectly reflecting Skynet's cold, destructive nature. Because these machines were physically present on set, natural light reflections, shadows, dust, and debris interacted with their metal surfaces in a way that would be extremely difficult to replicate using CGI alone. Now we come to one of the most technical, impressive behind-the-scenes moments in Terminator 3, the graveyard transformation sequence, a scene that truly establishes the TX as a next-generation killing machine. In this scene, the TX initially appears in human disguise, taking on the physical form of Kate Brewster's husband. Slowly, she sheds that disguise and reveals her true robotic body. To pull this off, the filmmakers relied on a carefully planned combination of matched performances, controlled camera movement, and heavy CGI compositing. During filming, both the human disguise actor, Christiana Loken, performed the scene using identical body posture, head movement, and precise timing. This was crucial because in post-production, one body would gradually transition into the other. Even the smallest mismatch in movement could have broken the illusion. The camera movement was also tightly controlled. The same camera path was repeated multiple takes so that every frame matched perfectly. This technique, known as match moving, allowed the background and framing to stay consistent while the character transformed mid-shot. One take featured the human actor, another featured Christiana Loken, and both were digitally merged into a single continuous moment. The iconic silver liquid metal peel-off effect was created by Industrial Light and Magic. At the time, there was no ready-made software capable of producing this effect, so ILM developed custom physics-based liquid metal simulations from scratch. The metal had to feel heavy, controlled, and dangerous, not fluid like water, and not rubbery either. Fine-tuning the weight, flow, and surface behavior of the metal took the VFX team several months. In the final stage of the transformation, when the TX solid endoskeleton and blue-lit internal structure are fully revealed, the effect becomes a layered composite. Stan Winston Studios' practical endoskeleton designs were converted into detailed digital models and precisely placed over the live-action graveyard footage. Lighting, shadows, and reflections were carefully matched to the on-set environment, so the robot felt like it truly belonged in the scene. Because of this meticulous process, the transformation plays as a smooth, continuous, and believable moment, never feeling like a visual trick, but like the reveal of a real, intelligent machine. Now let's talk about the haunting opening future war scene in Terminator 3, where the camera moves over a dark battlefield filled with thousands of human skulls lying beneath shallow water. Visually, the moment is disturbing, but technically, it's one of the most carefully crafted sequences in the entire film. Despite how real it looks, this scene was not shot underwater. Instead, the filmmakers created a miniature practical set built entirely by hand. Small-scale human skulls and bones were carefully arranged across the set, with larger skulls placed in the foreground and progressively smaller ones in the background. This forced perspective technique created the illusion of an endless battlefield stretching far into the distance. What you're seeing here isn't a toy set. It's a miniature version of a future war Los Angeles, designed to represent a world completely destroyed by Skynet. The set was dressed with real dust, debris, broken structures, and textured surfaces to make the devastation feel grounded and authentic. Careful lighting and shallow depth of field were used so the miniature scale would disappear on camera. Above the skull field, the advanced Skynet aircraft, resembling a futuristic hovercraft, was created entirely with CGI by Industrial Light and Magic. The practical miniature set was filmed first, and then the digital aircraft was composited into the shot during post-production. This hybrid approach allowed the filmmakers to maintain realism in the environment while adding large-scale machines that would have been impossible to build physically. For this single opening shot, the effects team spent nearly a full week designing, building, and shooting the miniature set. The result is a short but unforgettable opening moment, one that instantly establishes the bleak future of Terminator 3 and proves how powerful practical effects still were, even in the early days of heavy CGI filmmaking. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the making of Terminator 3, hit that like button, and don't forget to subscribe for more videos. Thank you for watching. Also, let me know which behind-the-scenes moment surprised you the most.